of the things I'm most proud of is the Assembly Republicans' opportunity to make structural changes to some of the challenges that have faced our state for a number of years. Most recently, we dealt with low revenue and sparsity, something that's very important to rural parts of our state. And today we're going to be addressing an amendment that's going to be placed on a bill that also addresses criminal justice throughout the entire state. Thanks to our smart budgeting, we have the financial resources to address a real issue that counties have faced across our state for quite some time. Representative Sanfilippo's bill on revocation presented an opportunity to address crime in Milwaukee while also addressing crime issues throughout the rest of the state. Many counties, the barrier to criminal justice is different from county to county. While Milwaukee County has concerns about repeat offenders that are on supervision, throughout many parts of the state, the issue is actually being able to get cases through the process based on backlogs of cases and not enough resources. So today we are taking a strategic and effective way to address this problem by addressing the shortage of assistant district attorney positions throughout our entire state. I'd like to thank Representative Bourne for his work during the budget, and now at the end of the session, he's been a real champion on this proposal that he's going to speak a little bit more about.
Thanks, John. So, as John said, we've recognized this issue in our caucus. We worked with the governor to come to a budget level that we could feel comfortable with to address the shortages in the ADAs in the state. And then once we had that budget amount, we had to decide a fair way to allocate assigned positions to address the need throughout our state in the fairest way. So we used a Legislative Audit Bureau study from 2014 on workload and simply applied the areas that were at 79% of their staffing or lower and added those positions that were requested in the last state budget by district attorneys throughout the state to address those shortages. So there were 106 requests. We realized that we couldn't fund all of them at this point, so we used the study to focus on the areas that were most short in their workforce needs, and that is what the amendment will reflect. It's 53.7 positions throughout Wisconsin. It's 40 different counties receiving additional assistant district attorneys.
The fiscal effect of that is a little bit less than $4 million. And one of the best parts about this is this is not a political maneuver in any way, shape, or form. There's Republicans that represent these counties. There's Democrats that represent these counties too. This is about real justice for crime victims throughout the state. Swift and certain justice is an important tool for us to keeping our citizens safe. To speak specifically on how this affects their districts, we would like to have Representative Novak and Representative Snyder speak.
Thank you. One of the reasons I ran for office was to help fight and increase crime and drug usage in my district in rural Wisconsin. For 25 years prior to me being in the Assembly, I was a newspaper editor, and part of my job was to cover the court system. It was very alarming to me to see the increase in cases and the type of cases that were coming through the Iowa County court system the last decade. Along with the type of crime, it was the increase. The type of crime type of crimes were stuff that we were never seeing in rural Wisconsin before. So I'm really very happy to see on this list many rural counties. And I'm a firm believer in giving our judges, our sheriff's departments, and our courts not only the manpower but the tools that they need to do their job. I unfortunately live in represent a district that Iowa County is a corridor between Madison and Dubuque, Iowa for drug trade and the crimes that go with this. In Greene County, I have the corridor of Rockford, Illinois to Minneapolis, Minnesota for drug trade. So in this additional positions, Greene County will receive an additional half-time position, which will bring their office to 2.5 prosecutors. And will also take Iowa County from a 3/4 assistant district attorney to a full-time district attorney, which will bring that office to 2. This will be a huge impact. It will make speedier process and help put these criminals behind bars. Part of the issue too is what this will help with the judges. All my counties except for 2 are 1-judge counties. So you can imagine the backlog and the caseload that not only the judge but the DA's office is. So I'm very happy with this proposal. It's something I've advocated, especially for these 2 counties who have been identified in a need for a long time to get these positions funded, and the effect it'll have on Southwest Wisconsin will be huge. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm going to speak specifically about my area, and that is Marathon County. And it's safe to say that my county is an example of many of the outstate communities around this state that are facing very similar challenges. Now, this is an issue that I have heard from my district attorney several times. There are in desperate need for additional resources to address the complex cases in our area. This is especially prevalent in the areas of treatment and diversion. We all know the success and impact alternatives like drug courts have in our communities. I'm proud to say that my county recently applied and received state grants that will be provided in the last budget to start up their own drug court system and program. They've made treatment and rehabilitation a top priority, and they're putting a lot of additional county resources in order for it to become a reality. Always impressed with the innovative solutions they are coming up with to combat alcohol and drug addiction. Providing this additional state-funded assistant district attorney will help them to continue to make these efforts a priority and put more people back on track to becoming active members of our society.
At this point in time, we'd be happy to take a few questions, if there are any.
What's the impact on Milwaukee County?
As Mark had mentioned, we're addressing counties that have a workload need of 0.79 or below. Milwaukee County is currently at 1.22 or 122% of need. Milwaukee County has a lot of project positions, so they would not be eligible for these positions.
So the fear from police and some on your side of the aisle that the DA's office is going light on these offenders because they don't have the caseload or they don't have the capacity to deal with the caseload, that's not going to be addressed in this.
Well, there is going to be part of the amendment that's going to require the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office to provide more data on their cases, so that as a pilot program, so that we can study that, because those are things that we hear from some people, but the independent study of the Audit Bureau reflects that they're staffed at 122%. So there's conflicting things there. We're trying to gather more information, so that's why we included that pilot study to kind of get a look at some of the data.
What about Dane County?
Dane County is at 0.90%, so at 90% of need already, so that they would not be subject to this either. I believe there are 40 counties throughout the state would be affected.
You guys had said that the study showed we were short about over 130 positions.
106, right?
106?
106 was the request from the district attorneys in the last state budget.
Okay, and this adds 50. Are there any plans to maybe look at getting that additional 50?
Government is incremental. We've got, like I said, through the wise budgeting that we've in a strong economy, we've been able to we have a surplus at this point in time that we can actually commit additional resources to this issue and deliver true criminal justice to our counties throughout the state. As more resources are available in the future, I would continue to believe that this would be a focus for us.
What are some of the closest counties that are affected in this area?
Off the top of my head, I know Dodge because that's where I'm from. Jefferson County, I think Walworth, Columbia County. In close proximity to Dane County, those are some of the ones that are jumping off the list here. But really, it's 40 counties in every part of the state. So you're going to find some in Southwest, Northeast, anywhere there's a need based on the study. There's a need on what we've been hearing from my colleagues have been hearing from their constituents and from their district attorneys, and this is, a good step in the right direction in addressing some of that need.
And just to reemphasize, in the past, oftentimes these decisions are political, based on the parties that are in power. That it has been our goal to deliver true criminal justice throughout the state, regardless of whether it's a Republican district or a Democrat district. So this does not take into consideration party in any way, shape, or form. It's based on true need.
Is there anything in here about state public defenders and dealing with their backlog or their need for employees, or the fact that they're still paying private attorneys' fees?
This has not addressed that issue. In the last budget, there was a pay progression for public defenders. You cannot always solve every problem with one felt swoop.
I would also add we added positions, in not this budget, but the previous one, to the public defenders, as well as additional money for private bar attorneys in this budget, I believe.
Will you guys be able to provide us with a list of all the counties and how many positions?
At some point in time, we'll make that public, yes.
Yep.
Okay, not today.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. The amendment will be introduced sometime soon and it'll be acted on tomorrow. So,
Can you talk to us again about the funding?
It's GPR funding, and this is the bill this is an amendment to SB 54, and that bill has an effective date of July 1st of 2019. So that will be the effective date of this effort.
But if you guys amend the bill and send it back, and no Senate buy-in, what do they do? I mean, why aren't you guys in the Senate more involved in this process up front if they haven't passed the bill too?
First of all, I mean, as we had said, the governor is supportive. We believe that this effort speaks for itself. There are senators that are supportive of criminal justice investments, as well as assembly representatives. So we don't think this is going to be an assembly versus Senate issue.
Thank you very much.
thank you.